Hello and welcome to Glassdoor's Sleep Out or Sleep In 2020. We are live from Duke of York Square off King's Road in Chelsea in London, but we're kind of the only ones here because of that awful Rona, the restrictions. This year's Sleep Out is fully remote, but people are still sleeping out all over the country, in their gardens, on their balconies, on their front room floors, anywhere but not their bed, and that's the whole point. The aim of the night is still the same, to get the smallest sense of what it's like to be sleeping on the street, and most importantly to raise awareness and money so less people have to sleep on the street. Since 2013, the Glassdoor Sleep Out has raised over £1.2 million, and it would be amazing if we could raise more this evening. And this live stream is going to bring us all together wherever we are in the country. And we have got such a brilliant lineup for you. We've got Glassdoor shelter guests who are going to tell us how Glassdoor has changed their lives, and Glassdoor really has changed their lives. A sleep specialist will be helping us get some much needed Z's. We'll be enjoying some morning yoga. With this back, that's not going to happen, but everyone else will be enjoying some morning yoga. The Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea Mayor Gerard Hargreaves will be joining us, as will former Chelsea footballer Paul Canaville. And to make sure we fall asleep peacefully and have the sweetest of dreams, actors Jim Carter and Colin Firth will be joining us. Jim will be reading a bedtime story and Colin will be reciting a poem. Do you love how I'm calling them Jim and Colin? The whole evening will be hosted by me, Bibi Lynch, and fabulous Elizabeth Healy. It's going to be a really great night, and thank you so much for joining us. What we're going to do now is show you kind of how tonight was going to be before the virus happened. This is how it's been in years gone by.
The Sleep Out is the most important fundraising initiative in our whole calendar.
Glassdoor is about supporting these people with giving them life-changing meals and support at a time when they have very, very little.
Very worthwhile experience to see what others have to deal with on a nightly basis that we don't. We're very fortunate.
People often say to me is, well, sometimes homeless people seem like they don't want to be helped. But I think actually being in the Sleep Out, you can understand how you can start to feel that you're not included in the rest of the world.
You know, when you watch those videos, it just makes you kind of want to get involved, and maybe you can't be here in Chelsea, we can hardly be here in Chelsea, but you can help get involved. You can donate if you're able. I know times are incredibly hard at the moment, but seriously, every little helps. Who said that before me? Go to our website, glassdoor.org.uk/donate. So I'm really happy to introduce our first guest. We got matching outfits on, that wasn't planned. We didn't get the email, the memo. This is wonderful Melissa Curtin, and Melissa is the Senior Comms Manager at Glassdoor, and she's the reason that kind of loads of us are here, because you emailed us and got us here. How are you?
Thank you very much, Phoebe. I'm great.
Enjoying the weather?
British weather. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Quickly explain what Glassdoor is and what Sleep Out is.
Right. So Glassdoor is the largest network of open access shelters in the UK, and that means that basically anybody in need can come to us and find a warm welcome, some food and a place to sleep, and we also provide the support to help people move beyond homelessness.
And it's year-long support, isn't it?
It is, yes. Our shelters are only operated in winter time, but the support is 12 months a year.
Yeah. And how do the shelters work? So you work in collaboration with churches?
Yes, that's right. So it's all about bringing the community together, and the churches have been a wonderful lifeblood and really spiritual home for the charity for many years now.
Yeah, but you don't have to be religious.
Absolutely, that's a really good point. So people of all faiths and none are welcome to use the services, as well as to volunteer and to be a part of the community.
So what's the aim of Sleep Out?
So the Sleep Out started in 2013, and it was really just, we were looking to expand our services to reach the growing demand of people. There were more and more people coming to us looking for shelter and looking for support, and we needed to raise more money. So it started off as a way to raise money, and it's become a great way to allow people to come together, to get involved, to come together as a community, and also it's done tremendous things for our ability to help more people. So we started off by just helping 35 people a night, and last year we were able to help 170 people every night because of this event. It really helped us grow.
Amazing. So we've raised, I say we, 1.2 million since 2013.
And now it's probably just closing up to 1.3 million since 2013.
So where's
amazing.
that money gone? You don't do it penny by penny, but kind of generally, where's that gone?
Yes, it's gone into frontline services. So it's allowed us to bring more people in every night into our shelters.
And it's more important now. So what was that shocking FT report that it's like, was it 1 million people?
500,000 people are expected to be losing their jobs this autumn. And we know with eviction measures ending, we expect that there will be, some people are saying it a tsunami, a tidal wave of people. And we're already seeing it. It's been really difficult because people, even though some of our partner drop-ins who we work with have not been able to operate in the normal way during COVID, some still have operated in minimal ways. And that's usually where people come to us, is through those drop-ins. But despite the fact that that's not running, we're still seeing an increase in the number of people coming to us for support. So we know the demand is already there, and we're expecting that to only grow as the weather gets colder.
So how are you going to do it? Because with the restrictions as well, you can't run the shelters in the way that historically you've run the shelters.
That's absolutely right. So we have shifted, we've pivoted, we've have a whole team of people looking into different ways we can provide support. So we're going to be having single access. We're going to have single rooms, basically, like a hostel accommodation to allow people to stay safe and still find shelter. It will be reduced numbers because it's a more expensive model, but we will do what we can to bring as many people inside.
Now, I know homelessness is kind of, the fact that it exists in 2020 just blows my mind anyway. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable, and, you know, going to get worse, and that's just horrific. And everyone thinks homelessness is awful. But you have a kind of personal motivation to be so involved. Do you mind saying what that is?
Well, it's interesting. I think when I first started, it was really just, in a way, a chance to give back. I feel very fortunate in my life, and I really just wanted to feel that I was able to give something back. And the longer I was involved, I started realizing there was other connections. I'm a daughter of refugees, and I've asked them, you know, about their journey and what happened. And you hear stories about the kindness of strangers, you know, how everybody relies on somebody to offer you a chance in the very beginning. And my mother arrived in Vienna without a winter coat. It was cold, and she was able to find a warm coat. And, you know, you hear about these stories and you think that's what we all need a hand up sometimes. And if we're able to, then we should. And so that was for me something that I connected with.
What's the message that you want to share with people tonight? So anyone looking in tonight, apart from how to get these wonderful tops, how do they get these tops?
We're twinning. You can go online, and our website does have a link. What's really important is that we all feel like we can do something. So whether you talk to your neighbor, whether you talk to somebody on the street, whether you write an email to your MP, whether you go online and find out more about homelessness, make a donation. It's about coming together and seeing what you can do.
And especially now. What do I have to do to get a hat?
I know some people. I can hook you up.
Thank you, Marissa. Coronavirus has just kind of touched everything, has it, forever and ever, and it is really going to impact on homelessness. And so we'd love you to donate. Go to glassdoor.org.uk/donate. But we also want you to get involved in tonight and the spirit of tonight. And I did Sleep Out last year. I'm doing it tonight. It's a kind of weirdly bonding experience. It's actually a really lovely, empowering, cold thing to do, and it's kind of cool to do it. And if you are getting involved, we'd love to see how you're doing it, what your photos are, what's your sleeping bag like, and tweet us, send us pictures, send us your posts, tell us how you're getting on, if you're having any hot snacks, if you're wearing red. So get in touch. Facebook is Glassdoor Homeless Charity, or Twitter is Glassdoor London.
Inspiration,
dignity,
Safety.
community,
Shelter.
warmth,
Valued.
Passionate.
Opportunity. Kindness.
Flexible.
Future.
Friendship.
Respect.
Change.
Glassdoor is special because our doors are open to everyone.
Glassdoor is special because we restore people's dignity.
Glassdoor is special because they give me a support.
Glassdoor is special because we serve good food made with love.
Glassdoor is special because it's a safety net for those who have nowhere else to go.
Glassdoor is special because it provides a sense of community to the people that come.
Glassdoor is special because it gives people the inspiration to return to employment.
Glassdoor is special because it's opened doors and given me opportunities to move forward.
Glassdoor is special because everybody is treated with respect.
Glassdoor is special for me because they became my family.
Glassdoor have helped me and made me feel valued.
Glassdoor is special because of the kindness it shows everyone.
So Glassdoor is special because they're passionate about working with the homeless and with those struggling with poverty. It's not just a job for them.
Glassdoor is special because it's about loving our fellow human beings.
Glassdoor is special because we welcome everyone.
Glassdoor is special because I find warmth, security and safety.
Glassdoor is special because they care about people. They care about me.
So at Glassdoor, every person is special, and that's a video showing people, the guests that Glassdoor have helped. Let's take a look and see how much we've raised. So already, so far, this event has raised, wow, 105,000. That's absolutely brilliant. This Sleep Out just captures people, it captures people. I wanted to say thank you to Melissa, thank you, Melissa. And one of the people that I was so excited to meet today, so I'm going to say hello to James. Hello, James.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad.
So you've got one of the hats as well.
I managed.
Right, I'm going to. That's it. I can never work with someone.
Thank you very much.
So I wanted to meet you. So I watched your video today, and I found it so moving and so powerful because it really. So the video is on the Glassdoor website because it really showed how homelessness can affect anyone just by a quirk of fate, or as you called it, being ambushed. So tell us your story.
Well, at the end of the day, it was because I lost my job and finances were coming through. There was friction in the family. There's problems, and everything sort of came over the top of every. You know, it's like a wave coming over you.
Yeah.
And then the day I decided to walk away.
Yeah.
It's not the good decision.
It was a good decision.
It was not a good decision, but. Thankfully, I went to the local council after a few months on the street, thinking there's got to be somewhere I can, get myself back up again, and they introduced me to Glassdoor.
Yeah.
Without Glassdoor, I dread to think where I could have been. I dread to think.
So your fate changed. So you had an accident.
Yes,
you fell down
correct.
some stairs.
Yeah, I broke my neck. Unfortunately, I broke my neck and my back. And the accident caused problems for me with everything, with work, everything, no job, nothing, so that was a problem, how it all started, with the neck break.
And then it became a bit much, you left, because
Yeah.
you were just like, it's going wrong, and then you found yourself.
Everything became overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with all the pressures of all different directions.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I didn't know what to do, so I went onto the streets. Which is not a good decision, but a lot of people do it because they feel it's their escape.
What was it like being on the streets?
Well, I've never been on there. It's it's a very strange environment because there's nobody around. Nobody. I didn't tell my friends. Didn't tell me anybody that was on the streets. Daytimes, you walk around. You've got no money to keep walking around. Unfortunately, circumstances today are more problematic for homeless people because of COVID-19. Libraries closing down early and etc. Where I was allowed to get in the library at 9 o'clock and be able to leave at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
It kills half of the day.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kills half of the day. With the circumstances we live in today, homeless people are in big trouble. I mean, and also to track the COVID virus, again, the government got to look at homeless people because they're moving around all the time. There's no
It's
trace,
such a
no
worry,
track and trace.
yeah,
so
yeah.
A lot of homeless people have got an app or a phone and everything like that. They haven't got that.
No.
It's another big worry.
How did sleeping on the streets affect you psychologically?
I found at night time sleep was very patchy because every time I heard a sound I'd wake up.
Yeah.
So psychologically I won't get no sleep, you know.
Yeah.
You think you're asleep but you're not asleep, do you understand?
Yeah.
And then the days become longer.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously it's going to affect your mental health, you know.
Yeah.
And was I depressed? Obviously, it must have been moments like downer, like, you know, you lose that link, and you get a bit down about it. But you have to try.
Why didn't you tell your friends? So you said that you didn't tell your friends.
No, I didn't tell nobody. No.
Why didn't you?
Probably embarrassment, bit of embarrassment about being in the position I was in, and a bit shameful in a way. You know, you do that. People get embarrassed and shameful.
Even though it was just a quirk of fate.
Yeah, quirk of fate. But people feel that way. They what's the word? Pride. You feel pride.
Yeah.
Not, you know, but at the end of the day, you're suffering because of the pride. So people should talk and communicate and try and find avenues.
So do you think as well people make real judgments about people who are affected
people
by
are very
homelessness?
judgmental, very judgmental. I noticed that. You know, I would never walk past a homeless person myself personally, and look down on them because I know what it's like to be there. Yeah. But people are judgmental and they look down on you sometimes. Yeah. And some people can be problematic about it.
Oh, yeah. I loved in your VT that you were saying on the video that's on the website how it was really important to you to have like a shave every couple of days. It just really kind of helps you. And Melissa said you used to turn up with like a tie on.
Well, what it was, I used to go to a toilet in the park in Wandsworth. There's a park toilet. And one day I got caught by the cleaner. And he was trying to work out, he couldn't understand why the toilet was so clean every time he arrived to do the cleaning. Because I had been there before. Yeah. I used to clean the toilet. Didn't clean myself, you know. I was a bit tidy, a bit you know, house proud in the lavatory. And he couldn't believe it. Every time he turned up, he was cleaning.
You took pride in it. That's a good thing. How did Glassdoor impact on you? How did it help?
No, Glassdoor, the organisation, changed a hell of a lot. Not only that, it's so valuable because there was one night I was in a bus station sleeping. I think it was I can't remember. I think it was Hammersmith, and the temperature went down to about -3 degrees. And believe me, it was cold. I felt cold, and then I ended up having to walk around all night. You know, but without Glassdoor, I not got where I am now. I've got a roof over my head.
Have you?
Got a little flat, a roof over my head. I keep in contact with the organisation, and if I can always help them out, I bend over backwards to help them out. And I'm very grateful because without Glassdoor,
I'm so glad things have changed, turned around.
Oh yeah, and I did get work, but because of my medical status at the moment, because of injuries, unfortunately I had another injury. I'm just waiting for one doctor to give me a clearance for a consultant. Not orthopaedic consultant guy, give me a clearance and I'll be back in work again. And then that's my fingers are crossed as well.
My fingers are crossed. Fingers are crossed.
I've got my legs crossed as well.
Hey Dave, what would you say to people watching this live stream? How would you tell them to get involved, or would you say, what would you advise them to do? What's your message to them?
What I would say to people who see this, never believe that you can never be homeless, because you never know what can go on in life.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody. I never thought it would happen to me, but it happened. So always remember, never look on anybody on the street door, because you never know, it could be you one day.
Oh, I wish you so much luck. Look, I'm crossing everything now as well. You make me cross it all. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Let's get another hat. Come on, we need to be your hat twins.
Okay.
I think, you know, if you want to donate, and I'm sure you do, again, I know times are incredibly hard, but every little helps. Go to our website, glassdoor.org.uk/donate. Let's have a look at a quote from someone else who was affected by homelessness. Let me read this out for you. I became visible, sneered at, verbally assaulted, pointed at by children why they had their noses. My first experience as homeless was at a time where support was not available. Not entitled was a phrase I came to identify with. Asking for help would have endless referrals, all with the answer, you are not entitled. I walked a lot. You don't know what the next step is. Am I walking to the library? Am I trying to find a shower? Time is reduced to the next instant. Being homeless makes you more vulnerable, especially for a woman. You are living without knowing what your next step can be. You can be mugged, you can be raped, you can be forced to do things you don't want to do. You close your eyes because you are doing things you don't want to do. Maybe if you want to volunteer at Glassdoor and help us across the year, through the year, not just on sleep out nights, this is how you can do that.
I have seen what good can come when organisations on the front line, like Glassdoor Homeless Charity, have the support they need to help people keep off the streets.
Glassdoor is here to help.
And we're here to let them know that they're not on their own.
Because no one should have to sleep on the streets of London.
We are working to help people access benefits more quickly.
Caseworkers like myself are helping people find a permanent place to live.
Staff and volunteers at Glassdoor are doing all they can to support people beyond homelessness.
Our teams will continue to work year-round to help support people out of homelessness.
Please give whatever you can, and together we can move towards a future where no one has to sleep on the streets in London.
Go to glassdoor.org.uk to find out more.
Thank you.
Am I looking at you?
We've got another great guest. I've got envy, obviously, already at the Bling. I'm happy to introduce the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea Mayor Councillor Gerard Hargreaves. Hello.
Good evening. Hi.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. Yeah.
It's so good that you're here tonight.
Great. Well, it's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah. Why is it so important to you to be here?
Well, when I was elected mayor earlier in May, one of the first tasks I did was to appoint Glassdoor as a mayor's charity for this year.
Yeah.
I'm a Chelsea councillor, so I know the great work that Glassdoor does, and I really want to come and support it. So here I am tonight, giving my support.
You know, I want to ask how much that weighs.
It weighs a lot.
Too much. Too much. How do you think the community can help attempt to, can you eradicate homelessness, but what can we do?
Yeah, well, I think, we've got a great opportunity here in Chelsea for people to volunteer, people to donate, and people just to spread the word about the good work that Glassdoor does. We have a lot of churches that make their spaces available to Glassdoor, and I think it really is embedded in the community in this area in Kensington and Chelsea, and people really support it.
Is that, and the churches down here that join in, is that specifically down here? Does that happen anywhere else in London?
I think there are other organisations that do similar things.
It's such a great model.
It is fantastic, I think every night when the winter shelters are on, there's something like 170, 180. Yeah. People sleep in, they get an evening meal, they get breakfast, but more, as importantly, they get support in terms of find jobs, in terms of find homes. Yeah. So it's not just the bed for the night, it's the whole package.
Yeah. And Well, I mean, already we talked to James. Have you heard James's story? I mean, just extraordinary, and how Glassdoor kind of turned his life around. And we're talking later to Eddie, who I've interviewed before, and Eddie's story is just, you know, it's that important. It changes people's lives. How are you feeling about sleeping out?
Well, excited.
Sure.
I'm sure in the morning when I'm a bit damp and grumpy, I might have a different view.
Do you know, I did it last year, and and it took me about 2 days to recover. And
Don't tell me that now.
No, sorry. But I'm just a wuss. But the point is, people do this every night.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing.
Do you
And
know
that's
what I
the thing I have to remember. Tomorrow, I say, when I wake up a bit damp and grumpy,
Yeah.
I'm going to go home to my bed.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll sleep on my own bed tomorrow night. And there are a lot of people who don't have that opportunity, and that's what Glassdoor gives them. The opportunity of a warm, dry place at night and food.
There was a lovely VT earlier, and I bet it will be on the website, and people can have a look later and have a look later. Just saying, and it wasn't just how Glassdoor helps the guests, but it's really lovely for the people that work at Glassdoor. Actually, it's a really kind of moving and special thing to do.
But you see people progress, don't you? You see them come from being on the street, and you see them gradually progress and rebuild their lives, and that's got to be fantastic.
Yeah. Where are you going to sleep out?
We're sleeping down in Chelsea, one of the church courtyards down in Chelsea.
Did you bring a pillow?
I brought a pillow, I brought a sleeping bag, I brought plastic bags, I brought thermal underwear, I brought tops.
I have faith in you. You can do it.
I left the army 30 years ago to avoid getting wet, and here I am now.
That's hilarious. Were you in the army?
It was a long time ago, yes.
What's being there like?
It's great. I mean, it gives you the opportunity of really learning about the borough. So today I've been with a Moroccan group, tomorrow I'm doing a church planting scheme, I'm doing the Society of Sculptors tomorrow. You see lots of different organisations all contributing in their own way, and that's fantastic.
It's really lovely to meet you.
And to meet you.
I hope you're okay tomorrow.
We'll see. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we're going to go to a VT of who we help.
Inspiration.
Dignity.
Safety.
Community.
Shelter.
Warmth.
Valued.
Passionate.
Opportunity.
Kindness.
Flexible.
Future.
Friendship.
Respect. Change.
Glassdoor is special because our doors are open to everyone.
Glassdoor is special because we restore people's dignity.
Glassdoor is special because they give me a support.
Glassdoor is special because we serve good food made with love.
Glassdoor is special because it's a safety net for those who have nowhere else to go.
Glassdoor is special because it provides a sense of community to the people that come.
Glassdoor is special because it gives people the inspiration to return to employment.
Glassdoor is special because it's opened doors and given me opportunities to move forward.
Glassdoor is special because everybody is treated with respect.
Glassdoor is special for me because they became my family.
Glassdoor have helped me and made me feel valued.
Glassdoor is special because of the kindness it shows everyone.
So Glassdoor is special because they're passionate about working with the homeless and with those struggling with poverty. It's not just a job for them.
Glassdoor is special because it's about loving our fellow human beings.
Glassdoor special because we welcome everyone.
Glassdoor is special because I find warmth, security, and safety.
Glassdoor special because they care about people. They care about me.
Back to the rain. So if you'd like to donate, go to glassdoor.org.uk and frequently asked questions. There's a menu, drop down, and it will help you donate. It'll show you how to donate, and it would also show you everything else. There's like frequently asked questions like how do people help the homeless, and so you can go there and it will give you all that information. The information it hasn't got right now on the site, but we've got it for you now, is how much money we've raised. Let's have a little look. Amount raised to date, £105,000. This is just brilliant. We, of course, I mean, I'm not greedy, but I want more. I need to keep myself in these gorgeous red things. I have 2 more guests with me. Yeah, you've got the hats. Everyone's got a hat except me. I'm really happy to introduce the Glassdoor Chair of Trustees and Pastor at St Luke's Church, Chelsea, and that's Brian Leathard. Hello, how nice to see you. And CEO of Glassdoor, Lucy Abraham. Hello, both of you. How important was it to make sure that Sleep Out happened this year?
So massively important. I mean, Sleep Out is always a huge part of our fundraising year, but this year more than ever, we know that the demand for our services this winter is going to be so high, and meanwhile, keeping everybody safe from COVID is going to be so much more costly. So this year is especially important.
Well, we've built up a huge fan base. People who really enjoy the Sleep Out and who want to participate. So that was another reason we thought we may have to tweak it, we may have to find other ways of doing it, but we must do it because we've got fantastic momentum from our volunteers.
Exactly that, and you want to keep that. And people do come back and back on the BT earlier. It's like, you know, it's my 3rd year, it's my 4th year. Yeah, it's brilliant.
The people that have done it every year.
Since 2013?
Yeah.
I don't know if my back could do that. I mean, I'll try my best. I mean, I know we're saying there's going to be a huge rise in figures, but do we have any idea what the figures actually will be?
It's not really clear exactly what it's going to look like this winter. Shelter said a little while ago that they were expecting up to 250,000 people to be at risk of losing their tenancy. So just at the end of last month, the protections that were stopping people from being able to be evicted, that ban finished. We're expecting lots of people to be losing their jobs this winter as the furlough scheme winds down. So we really are expecting that more than ever before people are going to be needing our services.
And what happened to the initiative that people affected by homelessness were homed and put in shelters? That kind of seemed to last for 2 months, didn't it? And then everyone...
So the government's Everyone In initiative, they did bring everybody in to hotels almost overnight, and it was a fantastic opportunity for many of our guests to have that sort of stable base, and lots of those people are now in housing, but of course not everybody was able to stay in the hotels, and there are just so many more people that have joined the streets since then, sadly. So our caseworkers have carried on working throughout the summer, throughout the lockdown, and they're seeing new people coming in all the time.
Brian, when did St Luke's get involved?
Sorry?
When did St Luke's get involved?
When
did St Luke's get involved?
Right from the very beginning. So the initiative for Glassdoor, that used to be called West London Churches Homeless Concern, came out of 20 years ago. There was a question about what should churches in Chelsea be doing to care for our community, and the big sort of screaming issue that everybody was united around was homelessness. And so churches began to work together, which is why it had its original rather clunky name, and why a few years ago we kept the ethos but changed the name. So it spread. I mean, it began through the churches, but it spread far and wide beyond the churches, and lots of people volunteer. Lots and lots of people are behind us, whether they've got any faith or not. That for us, that doesn't matter. The point is that there is massive, scandalous homelessness in our community, and we have to get together to fight against it.
It's having faith in people, isn't it? That's the point. What can we do about homelessness? I mean, what do you think should be done? I guess you're not a political. I don't know how.
Well, no. I mean, you touched just now on the scheme in which lots of people came into hotels, and actually that showed that the collective will is there. That if the right resources are in place, it is possible. But really the challenge is the underlying causes of homelessness, and that's a much sort of longer term game, if you like. So there's still a massive shortage of affordable housing. There's not enough support for people suffering with mental health issues and addictions. So really, there are so many underlying causes of homelessness. But we believe everybody involved in Glassdoor, our vision is a London where no one has to sleep on the streets.
When you don't have a job.
Exactly. We
want to stop
Yeah.
We'd love to stop for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible, isn't it? That we were the 5th, we're now the 6th wealthiest nation. That homelessness is a thing here, and it seems to be rising. I've moved out of London. When I come back to London, I'm blown away by it. I'm in Brighton, and that's even, it's like it's everywhere. But Sleep Out, the people behind it and people behind Glasgow, that must raise your spirits. That just must make you think, okay, good stuff can happen.
And we know people really care about it. I mean, that's what our volunteer basis proves to us, that people do care about homelessness quite fundamentally. And also, I think people realise that actually, even if we think we're secure, a lot of our guests, we now realise, have come into homelessness quite by accident, 1 or 2 circumstantial changes, a late rent payment, a broken relationship. All those are triggers to homelessness, and they can happen to every single one of us.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
We're all, in a sense, 1 or 2 steps away from homelessness. That's the great sadness.
It's the paycheck line, isn't it? Yeah. What would be your message then to people tonight watching?
Well, just a massive thank you. First of all, thank you for everyone that's taken part. Thank you for everyone that's supported. And keep up the good work, keep on spreading the word. As you say, an event like this, it's not just about raising the funds, but it's also about raising awareness. It's about people realising that this is what it's like. When you're sleeping on the streets, it's cold, it's wet, it's miserable, and actually, it's really important that people do understand that.
I think I would say that every small step can make a change. When you work together, working together is greater than the sum of the parts, and we can change this. We can.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Where are we all sleeping out?
Sorry?
Where are we all sleeping out?
So I'm going to be sleeping out outside my front door. Back at home
when I get back. And I email my neighbours, and it's me.
Yeah.
I'm just with there, thank you so much for joining us. And keep around, because we've got an amazing lineup. So here's who else is coming up this evening. And coming up very soon, we're going to have Colin Firth. I call him Colin, but you lot will know him as Colin Firth. Colin's coming on the show as well. I think he's reading us a poem. Oh, dear BB. What rhymes with BB? But yeah, Colin Firth is joining us later. Jim Carter, and it's a great lineup. And Paul Canaville, former Chelsea player Paul Canaville, who wrote an amazing book. Well, we'll talk about that later, but it's an extraordinary story. And so now it's Elizabeth. Elizabeth Healy is going to join us. And Elizabeth has been talking to Ben and Steve.
I'm here with Steve Gamble and Ben Davies, 2 long-standing shelter managers at Glassdoor. Ben, can you tell me what it's like, a typical night in a shelter?
It's, imagine sort of 40 people in a very enclosed space. Living together. We starts about 6:30 in the evening. We'll get a group of volunteers. Glassdoor basically runs on volunteers, which is what this evening is all about. So we'll have a group of volunteers who will be cooking for about 35 to 45 rough sleepers. So the managers will come in, check the venue over for health and safety. That takes about 20 minutes. It'll probably take a lot longer now under COVID and so forth. We'll get people in around 8:30 and get them fed. It'll be a typical meal, 3 courses, soup, main meal, and then a very nice dessert. We'll try and get people down for sort of about 9:30, 10 o'clock. The manager is there to make sure things run smoothly, make sure that there are no difficulties with difficult guests and so forth. Most of the people here are very, very easy. They want to get themselves down to sleep as quickly as possible, but occasionally there is difficulties, and so we're there to make sure that things run as smoothly as possible.
And for people who don't know what a shelter looks like, can you sort of describe it a bit, and what the guests actually
me and Steve will be coming in with our vans. We basically have an entire night shelter in a van, so we'll have 35 yoga mats that we can roll out on the floor. We'll have tea, coffee, changes of clothes, a basic first aid kit, toolbox for every eventuality kind of thing. But they'll come in, they'll start arriving at about 7 o'clock in the evening till about 5 to 8. So we have to do a check to make sure that they're okay, whether they're healthy, whether they've got symptomatic of COVID, whether they've had alcohol and so forth, and we make a judgment call. Some of us are harder on the guests than others. Steve,
you're looking at me now.
Yeah, it's true. Steve's a lot more hardcore than I am. But we try and keep as many people in. We want people to arrive. We want people to have a good time. We want people to be safe. We also have a duty of care to our volunteers. As I said earlier, we run on volunteers. It doesn't work without the generosity of parishioners and people from the surrounding area. From Chelsea, Wandsworth, places like that. So we'll be gathering people in. The area will probably be about the size of about 2 tennis courts, so we'll have 30 men, probably 5 to 10 women in separate areas around the building. So we'll try and get them to sleep as quickly as possible. They will have been on the streets and up and at them. The previous night shelter would have finished at 7 o'clock in the morning. So on a day like today, especially when there's nothing open, these guys will be cold, tired, wet, bad-tempered. We tend to think of the homeless people as a kind of homogenous mass, but they're 30 to 35 individuals with their own stories and with their own problems.
And do you find that they come back time and time again?
Yes, unfortunately. What we would like, at the end of the season, me and Steve will always say to somebody, I don't want to ever see you again. Because, hopefully they'll get themselves into accommodation. Our accommodation team are absolutely brilliant at placing people. But, yeah, unfortunately there are... Yeah, I've not been doing the night shelter for 2 years, full time. But I can sort of say, I can guess probably there'll be half a dozen people who I'll see back and go, oh, still here again. But there we are.
And Steve, how many years have you been a shelter manager?
I think if I'm back again this year, it'll bring me my 12th year.
Yeah.
Wow, 12 years. And what is the atmosphere like? What's the mood like in the shelter?
The atmosphere is it's excellent actually. Most of the time, the atmosphere is really good. It's a jovial atmosphere. People are very happy to be inside rather than out on the street on a wet night like this. And the atmosphere is twofold. It's also the interaction between the guests and our volunteers. So it's usually a very good vibe between the two. It can sometimes be a bit fractious, but that's very rare. Most of the time it's a very good atmosphere. People are just happy to be able to come in, have a nice hot meal, a nice 3-course meal, sit down, have a chat with friends that you might not have seen throughout the day, have a good chat, catch up with them, and have a good interaction with the volunteers. Our volunteers are absolutely superb. Without them, it just wouldn't be the same.
And a night like this, I mean, it just shows how important a shelter is. I mean, the likes of you and me have got the option of going back to our homes.
We can go back to our bed. At 10 o'clock, I'll finish my shift and go back to my own bed. Unfortunately, the people we haven't got that luxury.
And what is it, gentlemen, that keeps you coming back year after year?
Year after year. I look forward to the first week in November, because it's like going somewhere and being introduced to a new family. Yeah. And that's what it's like throughout the whole season. It becomes your family, and you look after them, you care for them for the 5 months of the year. And like I said, and as Ben said, you hope at the end of the season that you don't see them again, but you always see one or two.
One or two that are always back. Yeah.
And it's catching up again.
Yeah. What Steve said.
It's like one big family. It is a family.
Yeah. It's just having done this, I came 9 years ago as a temp. I was going to do one season, and these people are now my extended family. These are the people who I look forward to coming back. We do a lot of us do lots of different work during the summer. I go off and work for a company called St Mungo's. Steve works for a great place called the Ace of Clubs. But we all, come October, November time, we'll be phoning each other up. What's going on this year? What's going on? Who's going to be back? Who's going to be working with whom and stuff like that. It's just, and the ethos of the place is so good. I do management work for the 6 months a year. I'm a pen pusher. Coming back here this is the cutting edge. What makes Glassdoor unique is that we work with everybody. Most night shelters will have a criteria of who can come in and who can't come in. We work with absolutely everyone. We don't turn people away.
Open door policy.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We do work with everybody. We love to work with everybody. And like I said, there's lots, just like me and Ben, who come back year after year after year. There's a few. I think
we're comparatively new. I mean, there are a couple of guys who have been working for the thing since the late 1990s. So you know there are people who have come back.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean Bruce. God knows how old Bruce is these days.
About 105
Yeah,
now.
about 105.
I think
But
he's shielding
one
now.
of the night shelter managers, you know, was grey-haired when I turned up 9 years ago. He's white-haired now. He's like a very jovial Canadian Santa Claus, and he comes back year after year after year. And we're not here for the money particularly. We're here because we care. It's a really easy way to help people, and that's what else?
I know
What could be better than that?
volunteer who's been doing it for 21 years now.
Yeah.
Right from the very start.
Yeah.
She's been volunteering. And she'll be back again this year to do
And
something.
of the 25 people who will be coming tonight, I bet you she's one of the people.
she'll be around.
She'll be here. Yeah.
What's her name?
Rosie.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
we
I'm
both knew. Yeah, Rosie. MBE or OBE?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if she's either one of
granddaughter
them.
of something. Yeah, Rosie's one of those people who will turn up. What can I do? How can I help? Who's good? How can we make this calm? How can we make this better?
And she volunteers in at least 3 different shelters.
Yeah, yeah.
So, gentlemen, this is going live
Okay.
to all sorts of people watching. Some are volunteering, some who are participating tonight. What would you say to them about?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And on a night like tonight, you're very, very brave.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is that every single penny that you manage to raise is worth everything.
Yeah.
Every single penny counts.
Yeah.
So the more you raise, the more
we have
the more we have.
We run a
But
very
every
lean
penny
ship
counts.
here, very tight.
Yeah.
It doesn't go on management and stuff like that. The money that you raise here directly funds the stuff that we work. The more awareness, the more money that we raise here is the more people we can help. When I was started here 9 years ago, we had three shelter circuits. We've got 5 this year. We're looking to get open 6.
There's one when I started.
Yeah, well, there you are. Yeah, you know, and we've gone from a tiny organisation in a room not much bigger than this giant umbrella that we're under to a huge organisation. We are the largest single open access night shelter in the country, and we're very proud of that. But it doesn't work without the volunteers, and it doesn't work without the fundraisers.
We've done our bit of fundraising as well.
Yes, we went. We cycled to France, to Paris about 4 years. Is it really 4 years?
It's to celebrate my 60th.
Oh God, you were 60, and I was the idiot who fell off on the second day. So there we are. Yeah.
Wonderful, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye bye.
That was Elizabeth chatting with Ben and Steve, and Elizabeth will be back later. So please, if you want to donate, and we wish you would, we need to get these figures up. If you would like to make a difference, then please donate whatever you can. Any amount helps. Head to our website, glassdoor.org.uk/donate. You think I'd be able to say that by now? glassdoor.org.uk/donate. The rain is still here, so if there's any glitches going on, we have to blame the rain, okay? And also, the rain makes an important noisy point of its own, because we're sleeping out later and it's like, yeah, it's wet, it's awful. This is how people live. This is how they have to be. Yeah, Paul's nodding. This is what it's like for them a lot of the time, and if it's hideous, the thought of us doing it tonight and it's messing up with our sound and stuff like that, if that's irritating, try living it, okay? It's awful. Paul, you're nodding.
I am, because it's ironic, as you said, that it had to happen. It had to be raining on the days non-stop.
Yeah.
And I know that those that are homeless now are seeking, refuge and food.
Where they be going? Yeah.
Exactly. And this is what they've got to look for.
I didn't give you a proper introduction.
I didn't, you didn't.
I'm going to do it now.
It don't matter.
It does matter.
Okay.
It does matter. So I'm
It's all
delighted to introduce Chelsea's first black player, author of the award-winning book Black and Blue, amazing reviews, How Racism, Drugs and Cancer Almost Destroyed Me, and motivational speaker, the inspirational King Canners, Paul Canaville.
Hey, pleasure to be here. It was a pleasure joining you last year, Glassdoor. I'd like to say hello to Mark Meehan, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here at all. And we gave the support, and we were sleeping out last year, and don't get me wrong, it was colder than this.
Yeah,
and
I was here last year.
That was just an experience for me, again, to feel that pull, where you've gone, how far I've come from.
Yeah.
But it's never too far from my head, obviously, the concern for the people, and not just elderly, the youngsters as well, You've got to be concerned.
See, your story is extraordinary, and we haven't unfortunately got 10 hours because I'd love to talk to you about all of this. Let's go back over some of it though, because we have to. What was it like being the first black player at Chelsea? I know there's some really bad stuff, but was there some lovely stuff?
You know what? The excitement for me was always going to be following a dream, and that was to be a professional footballer. You don't think of nothing else at that time. Don't get me wrong, your parent or your mum wants you to get an education, but football was always ingrained in me, and to achieve that, it was great. To happen to be at Chelsea Football Club, but I didn't know the history, but I wasn't about to let it beat me or allow it to take away my dream. So I continued, and it was always like difficult, because when I came away from there, it was like, what can I do? I was like blaming myself. What can I do better? What can I do right? And it was always
talking about the racism.
Yeah, it was just trying to get acceptance.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing, just to let them see how good I am, and I'm playing for you, your team. But
so there's your own fans. It's so mad.
It was difficult. Don't get me wrong, and everybody repeatedly talks about it with me. Paul, how did you go through that, and why? And I think that's got to be part of my mum, who came over the Windrush, and how difficult it was for her, for a young black woman, and trying to find work, and obviously her colour getting in the way of things. But she never gave in, and that was probably where it's come from. I couldn't give in, so yeah, that's where we are.
What was your proudest footballing moment?
Proudest moment, everybody would tell you, would be Sheffield Wednesday League Cup 1985, losing 3-0, and I'm coming on at half time, scoring in 11 seconds, and scoring 2 goals where the game ended 4-4. One of the greatest comebacks, I would have said, in Chelsea's history, and I was there, and probably from that game, that's when I got the support from fans.
Was that it?
Yeah, definitely.
Finally.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that.
That's so amazing. So amazing. And then though, but you were really young when you had to retire.
I did, in my peak, 25, which was daunting. Very difficult for me to accept. When you're 25, that's the start of your life in football, to be honest. Everybody can tell you who's been in the game. And it was taken away from me. An unfortunate accident. I thought I could get back, but I wasn't the same player. And I think from there, really, I went downhill, a little spiral. In denial, to be honest, and because I think my mental well-being that I wasn't aware of was taken over, and I got myself, unfortunately, in drugs, and I thought that would take away part of the miserable life I was living, but it wasn't taking it away. It was just staying there, and I was getting worse, where at time my health, I wasn't looking after it, and then the next thing, diagnosed with cancer, and the next thing, diagnosed with cancer. It was just, one after the other. Whether the man above was just giving me a test, or let him to know that, boy, you can fight and come out of this. That's probably where I am today.
Well, you're a motivational speaker now, and actually, does that kind of make some kind of sense of what you did go through?
It helps. It certainly helps that I experienced all that. As much as people say, oh my God, that was difficult, but that's why I say maybe he's given me that reason so I'm able to share those experiences, and not just the elderly, the youngsters. They need to know I didn't have a mentor when I was growing up. My father wasn't around, so now I'm able to mentor those young kids with my foundation, the Paul Canoville Foundation, and it's haunts me as a person, as a man, that I can look at responsibilities, look at things deeply as well, not just about the others, about myself as well. And it's helping, most definitely.
Part of your, you had all this kind of life happen, didn't you? All this kind of stuff happened, being tested. Part of that was becoming homeless.
It was, and at a young age as well. And I was starting to, just before I was at Chelsea, and an altercation happened with my mum's partner, which was his house. And he just, at that time, told me to get out. I didn't even think about it. I didn't think of anything, well, where am I going? Because I actually didn't have nowhere to go. Now, at that time, my mum was at work, so she didn't know what was going on. So she thought I'd just left the house and didn't say nothing. So it was a case of now walking the street and not telling anybody. And the next thing you know, it came late in the evening, late in the night, and you realise, where am I going to stay tonight? It was only by chance that I remembered the next door neighbour to the house, that my friend had his car outside in the garage at the back, that I chose to go in there and sleep in the car. And at times, the car was more colder inside there than outside. It was like you had to come out, and then the thought pattern was, where am I going to get food now?
Yeah.
I can't even knock anybody north, because I only had the one family. There was my sister and my mum. And my sister was a young lady girl that was pregnant, and I even had to go to her. I think it was mother's hostel, that they weren't allowed any males in there. I had to knock her window to get some food. But yeah, those are difficult times. I'll never ever forget them. And this is where we are today, to realise how it's not got any easier. Because
It
right
looks
now,
like it's not going to get easier.
oh, it's
That's
not.
The, that's
And
the
this is
horror.
why I can't understand. And I'm not an MP, but how can the government not look at this? This is serious now. You've got people, young people, when I say young girls, young boys now sleeping rough. You just don't know what's going to happen.
It's that whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that kind of psychological pyramid of what you need to survive and what people need to survive. The bottom layer
It
is
does.
security and warmth and...
It's amazing, because it was just like, I was talking to a young colleague over there, and it was just like, when you see people and you see them sleeping rough, your first thought is not to understand, well, why is he in that situation? Your thought is just seeing, oh my gosh, he's a tramp, or she's a tramp. No, it's beyond that. Why do you think he's there? Why do you think she's there? And that's what you've got to think about. You're not. This is the ignorance about us, really. And you know what I mean? If you
That's what
you
has to
won't
be
understand it if you've not been there. You've got to understand. You've got to talk with somebody
But
to
that's
really.
why you're brilliant as a motivational speaker then, because you kind of, you are saying it. What's your message to anyone watching tonight?
You know what? Please, please. This is so serious. This is special to me. Donate. Make that donation to help. Glassdoors. We've done a tremendous job last year, but I know we could do better this year. So it's up to you, people out there. You're listening, you're looking. Please, please, pass it on, make a donation.
So Paul, we raised some money. Should we have a little look?
Have we done?
Let's have a look. Read it out for me when it comes up. Oh, it's coming.
Glassdoor, sleepover.
Sleepover.
220. Oh, I like that. 117,000. Oh my gosh.
That's
That
just
is
brilliant.
great. You know what? That is brilliant. I didn't even expect that. You know what? We made a little, don't get me wrong, with the Chelsea boys that done well last year, but this is tremendous. You know what? Keep coming and keep donating, keep passing the word. It's really important.
So we've got, I mean, this is just brilliant, isn't it? So the people
Oh, it is.
raising this, they're on Twitter and they're on Facebook, and they've been sending in great photos and great posts.
Great.
Let's have a little look at them. So these are the people that are bringing on the money. Who's that? Looking
Oh, I love that.
fabulous.
I'm
See,
loving
you've
that.
got
I'm loving
purple.
that mask. I'm loving that hat. I don't know where my hat went to, but
Yeah,
that
lovely.
mask says she's got to take.
Sleep out some photos,
Show me that
how
one. I
beautiful.
love that. Oh, that's brilliant.
That's St Mary's Church.
Oh,
That
brilliant.
looks like the
man.
White House. I'm sure that can't be the White House.
What a change, what a change.
They've raised £1,500 already. Okay, this is so
Don't mind my cut legs, you know,
Yeah,
because
what's
I
that
just
about?
no, it was I couldn't get a trousers or iron the trousers in time. So I know I'm going to get some stick canners. What are you doing with them, please? It's
Paul.
not about canners.
Paul,
Anyway,
so,
right.
so you know you're a heartthrob.
Am I? Trees. What? With this top?
Of course you are. There's another heartthrob coming up.
God.
His first name's Colin Firth.
Firth. Oh, I like.
Firthy.
Love him as an actor.
Do you?
Watch him up. Love him as an
Do
actor.
you?
I think there's. Oh God, because I'm terrible with names. Anyway, go. Come
He's
on.
going to read
Yeah,
us.
it's coming.
He's going to read us a poem, I
Ah,
think.
brilliant.
Let's have a look.
Hello. I'm reading this in support of Glassdoor, a charity who support people in need of shelter and who support people in the move beyond homelessness. This is also for everybody participating in the Sleep Out. It's a poem called Homeless Man by C.J. Heck. Homeless man, I watched you line a deserted doorway. Your Maytag boxes, cardboard monuments in FedEx labels and signs pointing this side up. Stark reminders of what is and what could be, but for the grace of God. I wondered if I wished hard enough, a FedEx truck might spirit you away on a magic carpet ride to where you wouldn't be invisible, for those who take the time to look and really see. To where someone would offer you a job with no catch-22, first telling you to shower and having clean clothes, and you with no money for either, without a job. I wished, I prayed, but for the grace of God go I.
I'm just going to look dreamily at the camera just for a little while, just in case Colin's still looking. No? Okay, nothing from Colin. That was Colin Firth giving us a little poem to make us all dreamy and sleepy and lovely. Listen, you're still going to donate, you've still got time. I mean, we've hit that ridiculous amount, but we can go higher. If you would like to make a difference, then please donate. Whatever you can, head to our website, glassdoor.org.uk/donate. So we were rudely interrupted, Edward.
Yeah.
We were talking, and I was asking you about kind of the worst things that happened to you when you were you were sleeping on the streets for 26 years. What would you say was the worst thing?
I think when losing your identity, losing who you are as a person.
Yeah.
You know, because you become a nobody, you know what I mean? And you can be in the streets, you can be begging, or you could just be sitting somewhere and getting ignored of people, or people looking down on you, or people judging you. That affects your confidence, it affects your self-esteem, it affects your self-worth.
I can't imagine it.
Losing who you are as a person, and I think when we in Glassdoors and we're bringing people in, we give people value, we give people respect. You know, and we give them a place where they can become themselves.
Yeah. How did Glassdoor change your life then? Because you've told me that it turned your life around.
Yeah, but before they gave me a job, they gave me a job. Do you know that was the first time I'd been in employment ever. Before that, when I used to go and used to get for something to eat, and even when I was in hospital, volunteers used to come and visit me in hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I never knew the people, and they're coming there and they'd be praying for me, and just...
That's amazing, isn't it?
You know, not knowing the people, but the people, like I just said a minute ago, to give you value, they show you respect, and within people showing you that, you can identify and find worth in yourself.
So when you were on the streets, what should people have done to make you feel seen?
I don't think people should ignore people. You know, I said to somebody before, when we were on the streets, not to look at what you see. People look at the outer appearance. I say, look at what somebody could be. Everybody's got potential. Everybody's got value. We don't know who somebody can be. We don't know what they could be capable of being. Until we...
Tell me what life's like now for you then. How...
Life's good. Life's good. You know, I've got friends, I've got community. I think we all need to be belonging.
Yeah.
You know, we can travel through life, but we've all got a hunger and searching for something. We can look in places, things and peoples and objects, trying to find something, and we never find it. There was always a void, always an emptiness. You know, and we're looking for connection with people.
So you told me...
We're born for connection.
We need connection. No man is an island. No woman is an island. We need that. You told me something that kind of blew my mind. So we won't say where you live, but you live somewhere now that you can look down and see where you used to sleep.
Yeah.
That's just...
Yeah, enough.
How extraordinary is that?
But where I started in 1984, sleeping in a train depot, people coming on at 6 o'clock in the morning, hosing you down, to get you off your train. I've got a flat next to it now. Yeah, and it's crazy, it's surreal, but it's...
I'm so glad things have turned around.
And I've got a job, and I'm clean 9 years.
9 years?
9 years.
Congratulations.
Without this opportunity to change, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
And you know, and I can say, when I talked to you the last time, and I said about that guy that it was clean for 18 months, and the amount of people that it's gave opportunity to move out for this situation and have a starting life.
I think it's just extraordinary how you've turned stuff around, and with the help of Glassdoor, but also because of you, and it's so lovely to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Pete, stay there, because there's a great VT coming up. So Elizabeth, the lovely Elizabeth, has been out and about, and she was talking to John Shepherd. Watch this and enjoy it.